Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
It's
have
time
arrived.
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Let's look at our situation today. Get the screen right for you. Makes all the difference in the world. There we go. Today is the 6th. So we could see that we have a moon right here in this little thing there. That's Taurus, just like it was yesterday. So we're going to be in Taurus all day long. Taurus, remember, is an earth sign. The tarot card associated with Taurus would be the Hierophant, which is about listening to the inner teacher. So even though we're dealing with an earth sign, the idea is to listen to the teacher inside to understand how to make that earth move properly, how to manifest in that world. So again, it's going back to the elements prior to the earth to be able to understand how the earth is formed through the fire, the water, the air, spirit. Okay, and we look here, we see the rest of this day, we have a square to be aware of between the sun sign Aquarius and the moon sign. So our sun and moon, so Aquarius and Taurus, are going to be at a square with each other. So the sun Aquarius is that Aquarian ideals that are going out there, those ideas that we know about the age of Aquarius, tapping into our inner self, the meditative place, the fire, the aspect of air is going to be in a blockage and a lesson in a square with Taurus, the earthly ideas. Okay, air and earth are going to come together later this afternoon. Actually, early this afternoon, 1:22 Pacific time. So just pay attention, see how the air and the earth in your world come together. Okay, see how the words and the actions and the things that are manifest in your world come together. That's later this afternoon. Then we go over to the signs in the sky here today. First quarter moon. The moon shines at the Aries-Taurus border below the Pleiades through the evening hours. Okay, so it doesn't show it right here, but that's what we're looking for today. We'll see the sun or the moon in the Aries-Taurus border. The current moon phase is the first quarter of the moon. Right there, 49% of the way full. We are at a 8-tone day, which is called the Galactic Tone of Integrity on the Dream Spell calendar. The kin for today is the storm, which is gathering energy. The guide for today is the night, which is about our dreams, our abundance that comes from the unconscious source of our dreams. Like-minded energy is the enlightenment that comes from the sun. The challenge for today is our purification. The hidden power is our inspiration that we get from the universe itself. We're in the wave spell here of the human, which is free will, and we're at this place along the way. So we've gone all this journey, and now we're going to take this energy we've gathered together, and we're going to look at the integrity of where we're moving with this energy, with this free will that we've chosen. The phrase for today is, I harmonize in order to catalyze modeling energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of abundance. Space weather, our solar wind is 431.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is in the 3, so we've got some activity going on, and here's our coronal hole facing our direction. More than likely it's going to be there the next couple days as it slowly moves around. We know how slow it moves because it was just here at the beginning of the week, and you can see where it is now. M-class flare possibility, like yesterday, is at 80%. X-class has dropped down, though, to 25%. And geomagnetic storm activity is pretty low as well. So even though we have some activity going on, we're in the midst of some sort of a storm, we are still not having a lot of activity at the moment. Okay? And let's look at our numerology for today. The numerology for today is the number 6. So how do we arrive at that? Here we go. We've got the 2 plus the 6. So 2 is for the February, 6 for the date, and the year 2014, which you know is the 7. So the 2 plus the 6 equals the 8. Plus the 7 is the 15. Okay, we got the 1 and the 5. And then the 1 and the 5, we add it together to get the 6. Okay, so today would be a 6 day. That's the numerology of the day. Okay, so a 6, we know in the tarot cards, a 6 is the Gemini. It's the card of the lovers. It represents the sign of Gemini. It's right in the middle of the tree of life. 6 is all about balance. You think of 3 and 3. 6s are responsible, loving, self-sacrificing, protective, sympathetic, compassionate. These loyal maternal figures are domestic, fair, and idealistic healers or teachers. Now, 6 can overdo its inherent protectiveness and become anxious, worrisome, suspicious, paranoid, emotionally unstable, cynical, or jealous, or tend towards a conventional side. So, those are the ideas of 6. I always like to look at the numbers, and I like to look at them and how they associate to the tree of life. Because when I think of the tree of life and all the symbols on it, I see that as the ultimate symbol that contains everything. Numerology, astrology, tarot, sound, color, I Ching, all of it is in there. 6 is right in the middle. 6 is the tarot card of the lovers, which is all about discrimination, using and discernment, using our discernment to understand what it is in life that we need to move towards and move away from. Okay, it is also understanding that in life we need to look towards spirit. We can't just rely upon the physical things of this world. And again, another message that tells us we need to look towards spirit. And the angel that is represented in this card as well is Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. So the idea of healing is implied within the 6 as well. So we got balance, we have healing, we have communication, we have discernment. These are all the things associated with the number 6. Okay? So if you take all of these things, the energy of the day, the astrology, the numerology, the Mayan Oracle, on, and you just look at them all and just think of like having a watch with many different hands showing all different times. The numerology time, the Mayan time, the earth time, the this time, the that time. And as you look at it, you begin to see that bigger picture, the wheels within the wheels, and it sort of helps you understand that energetic pattern around you, okay, that you're moving in throughout the course of the day. All right, UFO News is up next. Stay tuned.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today, we've got a bunch of stories here. So the first one we're going to start off with, this is over South Carolina, Fort Mill, South Carolina. 2 YouTube videos showing an anomaly involving a UFO left many people baffled, even though there isn't much information about them. They were posted on January 30th, 2014 by username Quan Tran with information that they were captured in south of Charlotte, particularly Fort Mill, South Carolina. The first video shows an illuminated object moving and hovering above nearby houses at the early twilight hours. After hovering, it appears to be descending straight down, and its lights start to blink at regular intervals. In the second video, the object is darker in the outside and seems to be back. The mysterious object is flying from right to left, left to right, and back. It stops and hovers for a while, then all of a sudden it descends at an angle back towards the location that it appears to land in the first video. Commercial airplane is also seen in the second video flying overhead. The object in the 2 videos is quite amazing considering its unusual movements. Okay, so this is just more analysis This time we have a second video. I showed you one the other day, but here we have two. And this is the one. You're going to see it right back in here. It's real faint to see. There it is right there. Certainly when you blow the screen up, you can see it much better. Okay. So that is number one. Let's move on to the next sighting. This here is Connecticut. Connecticut witness gets within 300 feet of a triangle UFO. That's pretty close. 300 feet. It's a football field. No, it's 300 yards, excuse me. That's even closer. A Connecticut witness driving southbound along Terry Plains Road in Simsbury reported getting as close as 300 feet to a hovering triangle-shaped UFO and then following it, according to February 4th, 2014 testimony from case 53913 in the Mutual UFO Witness Reporting Database. The witness was driving home from work at 11:40 p.m. on January 3rd when bright lights caught his attention above a wooded area close to the Farmington River. The witness first thought the lights might be a plane, as there are 2 airports in the area, but then realized they were not moving and eventually ruled out a helicopter, searchlights, and a tower. The lights I saw were extremely bright, the witness stated. There were 3 white lights and 1 center red light in a triangular formation. As I drove closer within 300 feet of the object, I could see it hovering just above the trees. The witness then drove closer to the object for a better look. When I saw it move by me, I realized the object also had multiple white lights on the sides of the triangle as well. I didn't see those lights because of the position the object was in initially when I came upon it and the brightness of the main 3 white lights. The witness then stopped his vehicle, turned it around in an effort to find a better view of the object. He also attempted to pull out a cell phone camera, but instead concentrated on driving. Now, I was headed in the same direction as the object, but I couldn't see it because it was hidden behind the tree line. I thought I might see it again just ahead, the little opening that there were horse stables on the side to stop my car. The witness then opened up a moon roof and looked up. I felt it was right over my car. I looked up through my moon roof window and was startled so much that I remember saying out loud, "It's right there." I felt as if they caught me watching them. At that point, I didn't stick around to watch it any longer. The witness reports no other cars along the roadway at the time, but is hoping for an additional witness will come forward who saw the same thing. Pretty interesting. Imagine, this is still artist rendition, but imagine flying, seeing this overhead, and then deciding you're going to follow it. Pretty interesting. Very interesting. All right, here we have over Mission, BC. This goes back to the beginning of the month. All right, instead of saying this is real and uncut and all that, I'm going to just tell you how it is, not leave anything out. The video was shot in Mission, BC, February 2nd, 2014. Tonight was a night like any other. I was playing video games and watching some show on TV when I decided to step outside and check out the stars, because that's just something I do every night. I saw that my mom was home, and I talked to her for a moment, then stepped out onto the road. I turned and I looked up the sky, and suddenly I saw a light in the distance. At first I thought it was a plane, but I noticed it had been at the same speed for a long time. In my head, something told me to run inside to grab my camera. I went in, got my fine Pix S 14 megapixel camera and pointed at the object. I started to record, and the second light appeared beside it. I screamed out to my mom that a UFO was in the sky. She said it was a plane, but I told her it was not a plane, and I knew in my heart what it was I was seeing was not man-made. A third light appeared in the sky, and my heart almost stopped beating. There in the sky was a light I'd seen as a kid, something I never got a video of, something for all these years I kicked myself in not doing. It was flying right in the sky in front of me. Then my mind raced, and I ran backwards to see if I could get a better shot. Sadly, the third light wasn't able to get in time because it vanished so fast, so I was left with the same 2 lights. My mom came over wanting to see it, but the lights went behind some trees and she couldn't see them. She went back inside saying it was too cold to stay out. I stayed out because of the recorded lights. Okay, so anyway, here's the image. Right there's one, and this is a 9-minute, 24-second video. And so he was out there filming for a little bit of a time there. Fortunately, Mom didn't get out quick enough to see it, so. Alright. So there we go. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go up to the surface of Mars. Okay. This one is the surface of Mars, and it was what looks to be some sort of face on Mars. I don't know if you can even see this here for some reason. Anyway, we got the face on Mars here. It says someone discovered this face, so I thought I'd better confirm it here. Check out the original NASA photo. It is there, and then some. What I meant is I found a lot of faces smaller than this. Okay, so this is the image right here. See this? Look at that. Looks almost like a nose. You could see there looks like a mouth. What looks like an eye, a cheek. I mean, this certainly looks like the carving of some sort of a face. Wouldn't you agree? Or is that just some anomaly that is there? Anyway, this was picked up by the Rover. And you see the story talking about the other images that are up there. That one certainly is. There's another one kind of looks sort of like a face. So it's almost like these are areas where there's a lot of different things out here. Can they all be faces? I don't know. This first one certainly looks a lot like something, though. Definitely does. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Florida, UFO separated into two objects. It says, from my balcony, I witnessed this pulsating blue-green object hovering, rising slightly, and finally moving over the southeast to northeast over the Atlantic Ocean. I was able to capture a few images of the object. It traveled without sound and split into two distinct objects before moving far away to photograph any longer. The color changed from shades of purple to blue to green and white. The outer area was emitting a glow that grew and shrank during its movement. The timing of the pulsing was not fixed, more of a random pattern. This is very similar to an object I saw last year in the same area. That area only that sighting was over the Gulf of Mexico instead of the Atlantic. Okay, let's move on from there to the next one. This is from NUFORC, National UFO Reporting Center. It says the director says the UFO reports are up 23% from last year. According to a notice by Director Peter Davenport on the National UFO Reporting Center website, reported sightings of UFOs around the world have increased by 23% over the last year. As a result, he wrote that NUFORC has become swamped due to the massive increase. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, our center has been inundated with an abnormally large volume of sightings reported, submitted from around the world. We have received approximately 650 to 700 reports during that time period, which we have posted on our website as of January 10th. In order to present this information in a more understandable manner, Davenport noted that the normal volume of reports received each month is generally in range of 250 to 500. This means NUFORC has been receiving reports at approximately 3 to 4 times what we used to consider normal, he noted. Because this is happening, Davenport also added that the site's workload of reading, editing, and posting the reports has vastly increased as well. Alright, so if you need a chance, check out the website, NUFORC, NUFORC. Links are available here so you can go check it out. Alright, and one last piece here. More humanoids among us. Chance encounters. The thought that humanoids share this planet with other sentient species, dolphins and whales, did not become popular until some point in the 60s or 70s. Prior to that, we just rested comfortably in the thought that no matter where our journeys might take us on the surface of the third planet orbiting the sun, we would come across fellow humans of various heights and skin tones, but they would always be exactly fellow humans. The notion of exobiology, the branch of biology concerned with the search for life outside the Earth and with the effects of extraterrestrial environments on living organisms, as defined by the dictionary, first emerged in 1960 as scientists gave serious thought to what life might be like on other planetary bodies. Would actual Venusians, not just jungle princesses of pulp fantasy, but the denizens of the Cytherean surfaces as we know it to be, turn out to be rock-like creatures, able to withstand the tremendous heat and pressure of the surface? Could Mars, humanity's next destination in fiction and fact, harbor willowy entities looking like terrestrial ostriches? What of the balloon-like Jovians Carl Sagan fixed our imagination with, rising like gas bags in the stormy atmosphere of Jupiter, hunted by equally toxic predators? The possibilities are almost limitless, wrote John W. McVeigh in his book Interstellar Travel. Perhaps the only real certainty is that we will never know what to expect until they arrive, and then we will not know what to do. On September 24, 1977, traveling salesman Edward Almanis did not expect that his wife would ever be touched by the paranormal, as it is indeed was the fateful evening in Puerto Rico. Driving his car along the road from Cabo Rojo to Joyudo, in the island's southwestern corner for generations, a hotbed of UFO and paranormal activity, Almanis headed back to his hotel after a strenuous day of transacting business deals. Up ahead in the nearby pitch blackness of the Caribbean road, he saw a flash of light heading in his direction, causing him to think at first it was an oncoming vehicle. Within seconds, he realized it was a pillar of flame giving off beams of light. I was able to see some circles, 3 circles, clearly, emitting dark, golden-hued beams that turned orange and bluish tones. The electrical and mechanical systems of the car suddenly died as though unplugged from an imaginary wall socket. Coasting to a halt in his vehicle, Almanis was now facing the unknown, petrified, staring at the incandescent fireball, wanting to scream in terror but unable to do so. After an unspecified period of time, the fireball took into the air and vanished in seconds, leaving the shocked salesman, his car now restored to operation, to make his way back to the hotel, awash in fear and unable to share his experience with anyone. This was the only opening round of his experience. The following evening, on his way back to San Juan and the northern coast of the island, the salesman began hearing strange voices in his head, sufficiently distressing to cause him to pull into a police station and request assistance. Continuing his journey, Almanis was now well on his way back to the city when the voices re-emerged, and the fireball appeared once more. For a second time, the car's systems went dead, leaving its driver at the mercy of the unknown. But now there was an added detail, a blinding flash of light preceded by the appearance of 3-foot-tall humanoid figure. Despite feeling faint and against any normal judgment, the driver felt compelled to get out of the car and approach the entity whose body was enveloped in a sort of brilliant halo. It's hard to describe in detail using words, the experiencer would tell El Vocero newspaper, which made his story public weeks later, and that's why I made a drawing of the entity. It impressed me greatly. It held something like 2 rings in its hand and something like a flashlight emanating a potent yellow beam. The entity put forth a blue light that turned into gold. The creature pointed at one of the mountain peaks. I think it was El Torito, before merging with the fireball and taking off at blinding speed. I then felt a pain in my neck, head and shoulder. It seemed like a dream, but I know it was true. Even more harrowing that the traveling salesman ordeal is that this one befell a jogger from an outlying district of Puerto Rican in the province in September 1979. Okay, there's another story there. But pretty interesting encounter indeed. So the rest of the stories there, you can read about the other gentleman, and there you go, chance encounters with extraterrestrials. That's it for UFO news. I'm going to jump away just for a moment, and I'll be right back because I have a lot more stories to get to. I'll be back.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
All right, coming back. Here we are. This is a story, has to do with Mars. Mars orbiter spots fresh impact crater. NASA has announced the discovery of a fresh impact crater on Mars and has released eye-popping pictures with a new hole taken by the Mars orbiter's high-resolution imaging science experiment, HIRISE, which is its acronym. The orbiter can't provide certainty about whether when the crater first appeared, as HIRISE was only pressed into service after the less powerful CTX context camera revealed a change in appearance here between observations in the 10th July 2010 and May 2012. Once boffins found something of interest, HiRi's ability to take pictures of 0.3 meter resolution from 300 kilometer altitude using a 2048 by 128 CCDs became a jolly fine idea. The landscape HiRi's photographed is a bit of a knockout. There's the image right there. Something certainly did hit. We could see certainly the impact lines from it. Some key details about the crater itself. It is 30 meters in diameter. Debris has been thrown 15 kilometers from the site of the explosion. As NASA notes, the crater is at 3.7 degrees north latitude, 53.4 degrees east longitude of Mars. All right, so you can check that out. I'm going to move on. So, remember the stories about the fake snow? Well, there's been more debate about the whole fake snow situation here. So I'm going to just show you a couple of videos. This first one here shows you samples of snow that are falling in Area 51. Let me go ahead and...
Doesn't melt. Well, I'm not going to walk up to the mountain and get all that up there, but we got some snow right here. Now let me see if this is the same stuff that doesn't melt that everybody's talking about. Let's see if they're dumping this stuff all over the country or if it was just in a specific area. Let's see here. This feels like regular old snow to me. Let's see though. That shit's melting right in my hand. Regular snow, guys. That melted, it didn't char, it didn't turn black. So what the fuck are they dumping over there? They're getting dumped on. Look at this. Yeah, there's too much in Minnesota, dude. Any snow I've never ever had.
Are you Styrofoam balls?
That's what I'm saying, man. We were just talking about all these videos people have been sending me about snow not melting.
It does feel weird, doesn't it?
And turning black when you put fire on it and whatnot. And then now this crap is falling.
I'm like...
All right, pretty interesting, okay? So you can see a little example, people irritated by what they're experiencing out there. So there's something going on weird with the snow. You can check it out. Here's another one. This is a longer study. This is a 14-minute piece. And I'm just going to leave the link here. But you could see it's examples of what's going on. You could see the postings of all the different fake snow that people are talking about. And of course here, you know, fake snow to be rumored all over the United States. So I'm going to leave this available for you to listen to on your own. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that there is more research and study going on about what is this all about. Why would there be fake snow? Who would be doing something like that? I know. Silly question, right? Who would be? We know who would be doing it. The same people who are doing all the other goofy experiments in this country. The same goofballs. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of goofballs, members of U.S. Congress who are leaving office. 40 U.S. representatives and senators have announced plans to leave their seats in Congress in advance of midterm elections in November, including 22 Republicans and 18 Democrats. The latest to announce his departure was Representative Rob Andrews, a 12-term Democrat from New Jersey. Republicans currently control the House, 232 to 200, with 3 vacancies. There will be a 4th vacancy when Andrews resigns from Congress later this month and joins a law firm. Well, just thought I'd bring that to your attention because I think it's kind of weird. I don't know if this is normal that these many representatives leave Congress like this, but here we go. We got 40 different representatives leaving for some reason unknown, but more will be made. We just now know that they're leaving. All right, there is progress being made in the GMO front. Subway to remove chemical from bread. This is a positive thing because a lot of people like Subway. Subway is one of the world's biggest bread bakers and is about to remove a chemical from its bread that raised the ire of an influential health activist and food blogger. The world's biggest sandwich chain says it is in the process of removing the chemical known as azodiac carbonamide from its sandwich breads, a chemical that Vanny Harry, who runs the foodbabe.com, says is commonly used to increase elasticity in everything from yoga mats to shoe rubber to synthetic leather. It's used for the same reason in bread, she says, as a dough conditioner. We are in the process of moving azocarbonamide as part of our bread improvement efforts, despite the fact that it is a USDA and FDA approved ingredient, the company says in a statement. The complete conversion to have this product out of the bread will be done soon. So, there's more to the article, but very interesting and strange to use the same ingredient in food that is used to help stretch rubber and yoga mats and things like that. I guess it's possible. And a lot of people have died. Maybe that's why stomachs are getting so stretched out. Or, I don't know. Trying to find a joke in there somewhere. I don't know if there is one. So these are the jokes, folks. All right. Let's look at this story here. This is about a city, a found city, ancient city found in India, irradiated from atomic blast. Radiation still so intense the area is highly dangerous. A heavy layer of radioactive ash in Rajasthan, India, covers a 3 square mile area. 10 miles west of Jodhpur, scientists are investigating the site where a housing development was being built. For some time, it has been established that there is a very high rate of birth defects and cancer in the area under construction. The levels of radiation there have registered so high in investigators' gauges that the Indian government has now cordoned off the region. Scientists have unearthed an ancient city where evidence shows an atomic blast dating back thousands of years, from 8 to 12,000 years, destroyed most of the buildings and probably 500,000 people. One researcher estimates that the nuclear bomb used was about the size of the ones dropped in Japan in 1945. The Mahabharata clearly describes a catastrophic blast that rocked the continent. Goes on to say, a single projectile charged with all of the power in the universe, an incandescent column of smoke and flame as bright as 10,000 suns rose in all its splendor. It was an unknown weapon, an iron thunderbolt, a gigantic messenger of death which reduced to ashes an entire race. The corpses were burned as to be unrecognizable. Their hair and nails fell out. Pottery broke without any apparent cause, and the birds turned white. After a few hours, all foodstuffs were infected. To escape from this fire, the soldiers threw themselves into the river. A lot more to this article, but we've certainly heard the stories plenty of time in the Bible that relate to these sort of events of what happened. Well, let's read a little bit more. Historian Kisha Mohan Ganguly said the Indian sacred writings are full of such descriptions, which sound like an atomic blast, as experienced in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He says references mention fighting sky chariots and final weapons. An ancient battle is described as the Dronal Parva, a section of the Mahabharata. This goes on to say, the passage tells of combat where explosions of final weapons decimate entire armies, causing crowds of warriors with steeds and elephants and weapons to be carried away as if they were dry leaves of a tree. Says Ganguly, instead of mushroom clouds, the writer describes a perpendicular explosion with its billowing smoke clouds as consecutive openings of giant parasols. There are comments about the contamination of food and people's hair falling out. And on and on and on and on. So, a story that we've heard is now being confirmed. And what we'll find more and more throughout the things that we study and learn is that there are more confirmations about what it is that we do know that has happened in the past. So it's very important and it's very good that we're learning these things. Okay, so let's turn our attention now to esoteric science and philosophy. Okay, on Thursdays I'm going to try to make this a topic to talk about. Esoteric science and philosophy covers a wide range of subjects. Today, what I wanted to bring up from you is this piece. It's the work of Alice Bailey and H.P. Blavatsky and Master D.K. and other esoteric groups explored by EDGEBA. Okay. This site is to try to lift the veil on the work of the most outstanding authors that the world has ever seen on the subject of esoteric sciences, Eastern religions, the occult, mysticism, psychicism, mediumship, or in short, the ageless wisdom teachings. You will find many experts on the net that will give you information on the authors and their shortcomings. This is mostly from people associated with one or other religion that still tries to cling to outdated ideas that are not relevant in the world anymore. They attack the messengers and have never read anything of the messages in the books, except in some cases where they use quotes that came under their attention from somebody else who read the book halfway without understanding its content properly. These quotes are then being used out of context by a band of people who are unwittingly working for the dark side because they interfere with the spreading of knowledge into a world that is in the grip of ignorance and greed because there is no light. They believe that they are doing well, so we must not be hard on them. People fail to distinguish between right and wrong because they do not know better. This site is not about the messengers, but about their work, the way of holiness, to cease from sin, to acquire virtue, to purify the heart, to serve the world. Though Christ be born 1,000 times, in Bethlehem be born, and not within thyself thy soul will be forlorn. The cross on Golgotha thou lookest to in vain, unless within thyself it be set up again. Herein, as expressed by Angelus Silius during the Middle Ages, lies the heart of true religion, which is less the theology, creed, blind faith, and outer observances than the deep interior experience. Biblical narratives were well aware of this fact and had themselves attained to profound mystical illumination. We all know that philosophy is but what is esoteric science? Well, in education in the New Age, we read the following. The basic approach for all who endeavor to grasp esotericism is to teach esoteric students, is to lay the emphasis upon the world of energies and to recognize that behind all happenings in the world of phenomena, and by that I mean the three worlds of human evolution, the physical, the emotional or astral, and the mental, exist a world of energies. These are the greatest diversity and complexity, but all of them move and work under the law of cause and effect. The first task of the esotericist is to comprehend the nature of the energies which are seeking to condition him, and which work out in the expression of the physical plane through the medium of his equipment or his vehicle or manifestation. The esoteric student has therefore to grasp that 1. He is an aggregation of force, inherited and conditioned by what he has been, plus a great antagonistic force which is not a principle in which we call the physical body. 2. He is sensitive to and should be increasingly aware of certain energies at present unknown and of no use to him. Of these he must eventually become aware if he is to move deeper in the world of hidden forces. They may be energies which for him would be evil were he to work with them, and these must be distinguished and discarded. There are others which he must learn to use, for they would prove beneficial and would increase his knowledge and should therefore be regarded as good. Bear in mind, however, that energies per se are neither good nor bad. The Great White Lodge, or spiritual hierarchy, and the Black Lodge employ the same universal energies, but with different motives and objectives. Both groups are groups of trained esotericists. The esotericist in training has therefore 1. To become aware of the nature of the forces which constitute his personality, equipment, and which he himself magnetically brought into expression in the three worlds. They form a combination of active forces. He must learn to differentiate between strictly physical energy, which is automatic in response to other and inner energies, and those which come from the emotional and mental levels of consciousness, focusing through the etheric body, which in turn motivates and galvanizes his physical vehicle into certain activities. And the second, that the esoterist needs to become sensitive to the impelling energies of the soul, emanating from the higher mental levels. These seek to control forces of the threefold man when a certain divine, definite point in evolution is reached. The esotericist must also recognize the conditioning energies in his environment, seeing them not as events or circumstances, but as energy in action. By this means he learns to find his way beyond the scene of outer happenings into the world of energies, seeking contact and qualifying for the bringing about the certain activities, He thus acquires entrance into the world of meaning. Events, circumstances, happenings, and physical phenomena of every kind are simply symbols of what is occurring in the inner worlds, and it is into these worlds that the esotericist must enter as far as his perception permits. He will sequentially discover worlds which will call for his scientific penetration. And also the esotericist, for the majority of aspirants, the hierarchy itself remains an esoteric realm, which demands discovery and which will accept penetration as the kingdom of God or the fifth kingdom. This the esotericist has to do. So as you can see, esotericism is not in any way a mystical and vague nature. It is a science, essentially the science of the soul of all things. The esotericist is dealing with substance all the time. He is concerned with the living, vibrant substance of which the worlds are made of, and which, inherited as it is from a previous solar system, is colored by past events and is already tinged with karma. He is occupied in working with these principles which energize every level of the cosmic physical plane, and which are in reality aspects of the qualified life energy, which is working in and through unprincipled substance. His task is to shift the focus of his attention away from the substance form side of existence to become aware of that which has been the source of the form production on any specific level. It is his task to develop within himself the deeded responsiveness and sensitivity to the quality of life dominating any form until he arrives eventually at the quality of the one life which animates the plant and within whose activity we live and move and have our being. The Tibetan goes on with the following words. I would like all esotericists to live redemptive lives, to unfold their innate mental sensitivity and to work continuously with the meanings which is to be found in all individual, community, national, and world affairs. If this is done, then the light of the world will suddenly and increasingly shine upon your ways. You will become light bearers, knowing then that in the light you will see light, and so will your fellow men. All right, then we have a number of books here that are available, but you kind of get the idea through listening to this. It's talking about energy, the same thing that I talk about every single day. Everything is energy, and that's what the esoteric sciences are helping us to understand, what this energy is. So it's not just some imaginary thing that's out there, but it's a real thing that we can look at and we can begin to understand. In the physical world, oftentimes we're only taught to look in the physical world, to see the physical things, not look beyond it. And oftentimes when we look beyond it, we're told that it's our imagination, or we're just seeing things that really aren't there, our mind's playing tricks on us. When in actuality, we're seeing beyond the veil to the things that are actually there. The fire, the water, the air that make up the earth that we are a part of. And when we take all of those things, we wrap it together and we understand that we are living in a world of energy and we are energy itself, it all makes sense. So that's what the study of esoteric science is about, helping us to understand more and more about energy. So whether it's numerology or astrology or tarot or Kabbalah or the I Ching or healing or anything else out there, all is talking about energy. Different ways to understand it, to feel it, to look at it, to interpret it, to understand how to work with it. And so if you just go through a daily basis and just think of everything you experience as an energetic form, see what that does for you. Okay? Just see what happens if you look at life in that way. It just gives you a different perspective and helps to open up your mind to consider something bigger than just the current environment. Because oftentimes we're not encouraged to look past the physical. And yet there's so much more to the physical, so much more than what this is all about. Okay? So, something for us to look at, something for us to work on. Now, we're going to jump over to a message from today. This is from Salusa. Message from Salusa. Here we go.
Salusa. By Mike Quincy.
January 31st, 2014.
Salusa.
Because of what is happening around you, harmony and peace seem far away. yet gradually the turmoil will become less, and in just a relatively short time peace will settle upon the earth. It is because of the coming of the new age, and it is lifting the vibrations more quickly. These changes were always going to accompany this period, with the ultimate separation of those who are ready to ascend from those who are not. This is inevitable as the vibrations increase to the point where only those souls who have reached the same level can remain within it. It is the culmination of many thousands of years' experiences through many lifetimes in different ages. The end of a cycle is an important time, when all souls decide how well their life plan has furthered their evolution, and if they need to repeat any particular experience. Most of you are well advanced and will be ready to move to the next stage of your evolution, with the help and advice of more evolved souls. Many will stay with the human evolution, but some will elect to join other species that may take them to another planet. You would of course incarnate into a suitable form for that experience. Those continuing their experiences on Earth in the fourth dimension will find that life takes on a completely new look, and that it is in a harmonious and happy time. Gone will be the dark ones to follow their own predestined future, and be given another opportunity to return to the light. You have little idea of the happiness and fulfillment that awaits you, and it will far exceed your expectations. It will be your reward for having come through the darkest period of your life, and having successfully found the light once again. A few of you will find that some of your friends or relations have failed to make it into the higher dimension. Have no fear for their future, as they will be exactly where they can proceed and make progress towards the light. In your position you will be able to learn of their progress, and visit them when they are out of the body through their sleep period. Whilst you will be able to retain the memories of such meetings, they will return to their dimension with no waking memory of them. At present you are awakening to your true potential as your level of consciousness expands, until in the near future you acquire full consciousness. Be assured that many helpers are already prepared in readiness to help you take your place in the higher dimensions. Life is a continual opportunity to evolve, and at every stage you have many helpers. It is always the responsibility of those that have evolved to assist those who follow after them. As like souls come together, so their consciousness becomes as one, but be assured you keep your individuality at the same time. We know so many of you are weary from your experiences, and it is not surprising considering the dense vibrations that you exist within. It is why you receive so few visits from beings in the higher dimensions, who find it a most unpleasant heavy vibration to be in. Equally you will be so uplifted when you enter the higher dimensions, and enjoy all of the advantages associated with them. Make no mistake, that when you elected to help those souls trapped in the lower vibrations, you knew what a difficult task it would be. However, you were assured that no matter how far you dropped, we would always be there to help you return to your rightful place. Dear ones, your sojourn in the lower dimension is all but over, and you will emerge far greater than when you first entered it. Your experience will help souls who can benefit from your experience, and you are to be commended for your great sacrifice to benefit other souls on the path of light. I am Salusa from Sirius, and full of admiration and gratitude for your unselfish acts to assist your fellow travelers. You are all one and linked in ways that are everlasting, and you will continue to assist each other on your great journey through the cosmos. Your sacrifice has its own rewards as you see souls move into the light and awaken to their true selves.
Thank you, Salusa.
Alright, very good. Nice message from Salusa. And that brings us to our meditation for today. So, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. I want you to contemplate today's affirmation. I overcome my fear of anything and everything and live life courageously. I overcome my fear of anything and everything and live life courageously. And we do. We overcome our fear as we understand the concept of love. And as we understand the concept of love more and more, fear dissipates. And we begin to live life in a more courageous manner. courageous, strengthened by the love and fearlessness that flows through our being. So let's imagine that we're walking along the path of life, walking along, seeing others on the path, those who have been part of this life living, and those who have passed along the veil. It matters not, for they are alive in this world. And as we see others walking along the path of life, we send positive vibes to them, and they send positive vibes to others. And little by little, we all inspire each other with positivity, good vibes. Let us imagine as we're walking along that we are experiencing this physical world, seeing it with our own two eyes. But yet at the same time, we're able to pull our vision perceptions back a bit and see the fire, the water, and the air that make up this physical manifestation. To see the ideas, the love, and the words that have brought this manifestation into existence. To understand the spirit behind all things. And as we look and we see beyond the veil of the physical world, and we see the other energetic forms of life, we understand that our place in this universe, though it might be small, is very much a part of the universe as anything else. And we realize that all things work together in harmony and peace. And through the process of our learning, we certainly take our place in the cosmos, in the way in which we are intended. Let's imagine that highest level of energy, that spiritual level. Let's imagine going to that place and noticing how the spiritual energy, that fiery energy of ideas, let's just see how this, like a waterfall, flows down those ideas that eventually manifest themselves in the world. We see those ideas move and merge down with love and become fluid, and how they move further down yet into the world, manifest as words and actions, which become the form, the earth. And so from this highest form, this spiritual perspective, we think the word love. We plant this word love within the consciousness of this energetic mind, within this field of possibilities. And as we do so, as we plant this love, and we imagine the word love, we see this love trickle down through all the energetic levels until the physical world, and we see the physical world changed. And we know that all we have to do to make a change in this world is go to the spiritual and allow that energetic form to trickle down into the physical to make the change that we imagined. So let's just keep imagining peace and love for the world, knowing that as we do so, we make the world a better place. And despite all of the challenges in the world, in the apparent attempts to spread fear and disharmony, as we stand up against it, we find that our strength is enough to keep it at bay. That life continues on, continuing to evolve in positive, productive manners. So let's imagine our subconscious mind continuing on a journey, sending out love and light into the world, and let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Hold it. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. Thank you for being here today. Remember, even though there are those in the world who are attempting to do bad things, there are many, many, many more people who are doing good things in the world. So we have to know at any given moment there are enough good people in the world that are putting out good vibes to contradict all the bad that's going on, keeping it at bay. And this has been a constant struggle and battle throughout the centuries and will continue on. And all we have to do to win is to keep putting out the good. And as we do so, the bad will be eliminated. That's it. Plain and simple. It's not so difficult. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Till then, you have an awesome day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.